Yo, 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 yo. What's good, everybody? Happy December 26th. Hope everybody had a good Christmas for everybody who celebrated. Bren here, back with another stream. Last stream we did was Tuesday. I think we ended a little bit earlier because of technical difficulties, but fucking stoked to be on this stream. Excited to be on with everybody. I see a few people in chat already. Crispy, what's up, brother? Let's make sure the stream works this time because I know a few weeks ago it wasn't. Okay, looks like we're good to go. But what is up? I'll give a few seconds to let everybody kind of come in here. But Crispy, what's up? Crypto Prince, Conductor reposted the stream. Appreciate you, brother. Dan Norton says it's Friday off work. I made it today. Thank you, Dan, for being here. First of all, yeah, I know it's December 26th. It might be the day off for a lot of you guys in the US and everywhere else. So appreciate you spending time with me here on this beautiful Friday. I am in Southern California, and it is one of the few days in the year where it is pouring rain. So it's a good day to do this stream as well. What's up, Rojam? But yeah, lots to talk about today, and there's at the same time not much to talk about. I think I can go on about why I think we are either the bottom is in or we're getting very close for a long time. Still not a lot of crazy stuff going on, but I think there's a lot of good signs both in the majors, which we talk a lot about, but also low caps. White whale, we talked about it here on stream last week and the weeks before, around 3 million. It took a dip to under 1 million, and now it is up, guys. I don't know if you saw today, up all the way at and again, this is just hypothetical. I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but as far as it going from about 1 mil to 18 mil, almost a 10x in what was this, a matter of 8 or 9 days, 7 or 8 days, something like that. And even if you didn't catch white whale, if you did with us on the stream, congratulations. It was a nice little opportunity. I wish I would have bought a bit more. I remember I was thinking when it was coming under a mil, I need to buy 1% of this. But of course I took my eye off it. I was dealing with some Christmas shit, and then it wasn't even Christmas shit. It was back actually a couple weeks ago, but I was traveling or something and just took my eye off the ball. Bought a little bit of here, but now it is up 10x in a couple weeks. And congrats to everybody who caught that. I think White Whale is kind of just different. He's not your traditional like celebrity meme coin person where he actually is aligned with crypto Twitter, and he's a smart guy. So not surprised to see this happen. Pretty surprised and pretty stoked to see it happen so quickly. And even if you didn't catch White Whale, I think what this is showing, guys, is signs that the market is getting ready to come back. The fact that we're seeing low caps under a million run 10, 15x, have follow through for multiple weeks in a row. Instead of just, having 200K, 1 mil toppers, we're actually seeing coins pull back 70 or 80% and then continue on to all-time highs. That is extremely healthy. And I think we're going to see coins like Kermit potentially, which is another one I've been, accumulating slowly. As you guys know, if you've been on these streams for a bit here, you know that I'm not a big low cap guy in general, especially during these times. I'm more of a buy and hold. I think buy and hold guy. I think right now, SPX, Gigamog, Ticker Bitcoin, all these coins, USDUC are down right now that you don't have to overcomplicate it and go to the super low caps. But with that being said, I do think there's a lot of opportunity in here, and Kermit kind of pulling back. I could see this potentially starting to break higher, and see some of these coins that are really not having much follow through the last 6 months when the market shit start to run to 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, who knows, 50 million, which would really be healthy for the market. I think this is a sign that Bitcoin, once it does bottom out, which we will talk about here in a second, Bitcoin and ETH, I think it's going to add fuel to the fire for some of these low caps. So for White Whale, for those of you who might have entered on the stream with me, again, congratulations if you caught that with us. Not the black whale. I'm trying to look at the white whale. Yeah, I'll share the screen. For those of you who caught this with us, amazing. Either way, what was I going to say? Totally forgot. Oh, what I'm doing with this is I have at this point, again, my average entry is around 2.8 or 2.6 or something like that. After I kind of averaged down when it was coming down. So I'm up about 7 or 8x on it. I typically have a rule. For those of you guys, we haven't talked about this for a few weeks, but I have a profit taking strategy called ABTPP where I'm pretty much taking profits on the way up. And right now, one of my thresholds is 3 to 5x. And so at that, I'm taking off about 25%. So at that point, right now, I am taking off 25% of White Whale I did yesterday. And I'm just holding to see how it plays out. Obviously, if there's signs of a top where you get some consolidation for a few weeks, I may start to take it off, but I'll just be taking profits slowly on the way up here and holding a bag because I do think one, the market is going to recover here soon, and two, I like what the White Whale is doing. So let me know in the chat if you guys caught White Whale with me, and if you're what if you've been trading any low caps in general. Two, let me know actually two things if you're here in the chat. One, if this is your first time in the stream, like my boy Dan Norton here, you're able to catch it with us, for one of the first times because it's the holidays. So let us know if you're the first time in the stream, and then two, where you're tuning in at from in the world. Conductor reposted, I appreciate you. Yeah, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share the stream as well, always appreciated. Incredibly bullish for Kermit. Yeah, I agree. Believe in something. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I have a tweet that I'm gonna put out here probably after the stream that I think it's honestly with the low cap stuff. I think it's gonna continue to grow. I think the pump fund trenches are gonna probably blow up again. But at the same time, I do think it's going to get harder, infinitely harder to make money consistently and get those 10, 20, 30, 50x gains for not waiting at all and just pushing a button on a pump fund coin. I think as more people get in, there's going to be more PvPing. It's going to be harder to know which one's going to be, which of the 100 tickers of the same coin is going to run. I think the outliers, the people who have the bots and the people who are just really smart are going to make millions of dollars. And then I think most people are going to have the average results of like the average gambler or online casino or sports betting, which is totally fine. To protect lethal's point, I think what we're going to end up seeing is it's going to get a lot quote unquote easier to buy and hold coins, movement coins, stuff like that as the bull picks up again. And by what I mean by easier is it's never easy. There's no free lunch, right? The sacrifice that we make here is patience and waiting throughout these shitty times. So yeah, I do think it's going to be more of a buy and hold environment as we're already seeing with USDC, with fucking White Whale and some of these other coins. So yeah, I want to go over a few other low caps too in a bit, but yeah, it's pretty quiet time. I appreciate everybody for being on during your time off on holiday in Sweden. Pretty cold. Wow. Okay. Nice. Yeah, let me know how cold it is here. I say it's cold here, but again, in Southern California, it's like fucking 55 outside, and that's cold. So, I was actually just in Chicago last week, and it was definitely a lot colder than that. I want to make sure my audio. Yeah, okay, we're good. Thoughts on Nuit? Yeah, I can look at that. What's up, Brodos? How you doing? How you doing? But let's go ahead and I want to go ahead and start with Bitcoin, ETH, Sol. Right? Let's go ahead and do an update on these. Um, it has definitely been a slow last few weeks, as you guys can see here since December. Oh, the last week, since December 8th, when Bitcoin came down and touched this low. Again, this consolidation that we've been tracking throughout the last few weeks that I've been saying very likely is going to end up being a base that takes us back to all-time highs. That's my base case. Essentially, I think Bitcoin, if we go to Bitcoin, it's kind of easier to see that we're looking at another version of the April low here, where Bitcoin made a low here at 78K, went up, swept the low just barely, but essentially held this low for over a month before shifting to all-time highs. We saw the same thing, another version of this back in September, where Bitcoin bottomed out at 54K, kind of chopped above it for a little bit, used that low as a base, didn't take it out, and went to all-time highs. Essentially, I could show you every single major bottom that Bitcoin's formed, correction bottom that Bitcoin's formed since the bull market started in 2022, has consisted of one thing and one thing, and essentially one thing, and that is consolidation. Again, same thing here in August of 2023. Bitcoin bottomed out at 25K, went up, kind of chopped above it, held above it for 2 or 3 weeks. I think total this was about 2 months of time, and then it shifted to all-time highs. Again, what was that thing that we're looking at, that common factor that makes up every single one of these bottoms, is Bitcoin holds a low or makes a low, holds above it, whether it be sweeping it like we saw in April, or holding above it like we saw here, or even a higher low like we saw in April 2023. But either way, it makes a low, holds above it for 2 to 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then shifts back to all-time highs. What are we seeing right now for Bitcoin? Obviously, it's a different form of this every single time. You're never going to see the exact same thing play out, but same variation on the theme, guys. Exactly the same thing playing out. What did Bitcoin do in November of 19 or November of 20? November 20th, it made a low at 81K. And now what did it do? It went up and is, kind of chopping above. I don't know if you guys remember, but on ETH, when I saw the hesitancy around FOMC, I put out this video kind of talking about how it does look like Bitcoin. Sorry, let me go here. Right here, I put out this video talking about how Bitcoin, looks like it's hesitating and it wants to come down. Put out this markup that same day talking about how Bitcoin hesitating right at 93K. I think it does want to chop down towards that low very slowly over the next few weeks, bottom out above 81K, and then shift to all-time highs like we saw in those other corrections I showed you a few minutes ago. And then what do we see here? Perfectly, almost perfectly. Obviously, I'm just trying to hook in this tweet. It's not a perfect, but essentially almost as perfect as you can get, following this kind of trajectory I put out a couple weeks ago. And now I think what we're waiting for is Bitcoin to either one of the three things, whether it comes down and sweeps that low one more time, like we saw in April, it leaves that low untouched, let me fold it, leaves this low untouched like it did in 2023, or it just touches that low and goes up. I think the signs on the charts right here are 100% mimicking what we've seen at the bottom of every one of these corrections, guys. And I think the reason why it's so obvious, if you just look at these things, if you're looking at the right chart or the right things to see these patterns. But again, I make a joke on this about on every essentially every stream, is that the reason why people don't see this is because they're on the 15-minute chart, zoomed in on this bullshit the last 2 days. Which again, this is a big consolidation. It's going to be a bunch of chop anyway. But this stands always is like the patterns and the repeatable things that you're going to be able to use in our trading, or what I use at least in my analysis to really see patterns and repeatable stuff that happens over time and allows me to see these things coming, are not on the 5 and 15-minute chart, and definitely not on the 5 or 15-minute chart zoomed in. Right? I'll use the 15-minute chart, but it's in this. It's to look at, the zoomed out here. But like the real alpha here, guys, the real alpha you're going to find is not on the lower time frames. It's not on the 5-minute chart using the Fibonacci, trying to find the extension of that day or whatever. It's looking at the higher time frame charts and comparing certain market structure. Consolidation being a big one. Impulsivity and how choppy or quick the moves up are is another thing that I talk about a lot. But just generally, guys, looking at the higher time frame, zooming out, you're going to get way more value and being able to catch way more stuff on that. So, yeah, I mean, I talk about this every the last few weeks, is this consolidation for Bitcoin. It's boring, but it's what makes up every single one of these bottoms, right? And I think every time we touch the low, people get terrifying, like just get scared and just scared that it's going to break. But if you go and look at this yourself, if you look at any consolidation that's made up 4 or 5 weeks. Very, very rarely are you gonna get consolidation chop down towards this low, another consolidation for 8 weeks above 84K, and then prices just drop out and it goes to fucking 80K. This is very, very indicative historically, if you look at charts, of a slowdown before a shift back to the upside. So as more days go on, guys, as this chart plays out and how it's holding above 81K just very slowly, kind of condensing here, I get more and more confident that Bitcoin is going to head back to all time, or I don't know about all time highs, but at least head back to the upside above 100K here on this next run. So for me, I am long ETH right now. I do have a long position 10x. I'll go ahead and share my entries. I did last week too. I have a ETH long with an average entry of about, I think it's about 2860. So kind of right below where price is at right now. To me, I'm playing this as a longer swing to catch this move to what I think will be 100K. So I'd have a 10x long on with a stop loss kind of below these low at around 2600. But again, I'm targeting my first target is all the way up at above 3400. Second target would be probably around 3750, and the third target where I'm out 75% of that position at that point, very likely I would be around 3950, right? So risking about a thousand, or you're risking about 200 to gain about $1,000 a price, about a 3-to-1 risk to reward. And I'm really confident. I really, these are the kind of trades that come around only once, a couple times a year. But I've done a lot better and made a lot more gains being very patient with these kind of swing trades versus being a high frequency scalper on the lower time frame. So yeah, guys, I think we're going to get a shift out of here. Either maybe, we are coming up on the weekend. Could be to end the year, could be, to start the new year. But I think in the next few weeks, Bitcoin's going to start to move. Bitcoin and ETH are going to start to move out of these levels. And we're going to start to see acceptance back above these consolidation highs at 3,500 plus. So that's how I'm playing it. Nothing's really changed for me, guys. It's just accumulating this long position and then just getting my last DCAs into stuff like SPX, MOG, um, movement coins like that USDUC, but also Ast or Pump, Hype, stuff like that. Just the obvious 5 to 10 coins I've been focusing on because I do think even if this run up here on ETH is just a short lived correction or a short lived move up and it just comes down one more time to start the year, I think we are going to get a nice move up in the memes, alts, all that good stuff, even if it's just a temporary rally. So, one last thing for this, guys, is I do think we are going to get that shift to 100K in the next couple weeks. Thing is we have to see on the daily chart is if we trade back above this 200 moving average, which is around, 200 moving average on the daily, which is around 170K, 107K now, right? So, if Bitcoin moves up here, just does this, trades above this 200 moving average and just straight continues upwards, which I think is very possible. I still lean towards this scenario. I know this is so fucked up, but lean towards this scenario. But also we do have to be cognizant that this could play out where it chops up towards the 200 moving average, doesn't break above it, and then gives us that one more low that everybody is kind of fearing, right? So I am open to the fact that we could get one more low. I think it's not the most likely scenario, but we could get one more low. Um, but I don't think it comes from here. I don't think we get one more sweep. It's possible we could get a sweep, but I don't think we get a move to like 75K and then we go lower. I think what this is going to end up being is a bottom. We move up into the end of the year around 100K, 105K. At that point, we see if Bitcoin wants to continue back to all-time highs, straight rocket to all-time highs, or if it wants to top out and give us one more low into the next year. I am heavily leaning towards the former, where we just go straight up from here. And I'll tell you guys why here in a second. I exactly why, and that's because of the fundamentals outside the charts. But I want to take this opportunity. It's 20 minutes in. If you guys could like, comment, retweet, share. If you're just popping in right now, we're looking at Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol and talking about whether the lack of the Santa rally that happened is pointing to another sweep lower or a bottom that takes us back above 100K here. You can watch back a little bit if you want to see the full detail, but frankly, guys, I think we are either bottoms in or is very close. I think everything's pointing to that through the charts, the fundamentals, and even now the sentiment on Twitter. So I want to hit the chat real quick before I move on. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm gonna send out a quote post as well. But Dan Morton, what's up, bro? Uh, oh yeah, and then we're gonna talk about silver too, dude. Absolutely going crazy. It kind of ties into to as well as the third topic that I want to hit here in a bit is whether um whether the markets so really we just went over Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol here. This is what I want to hit for the rest of the show is obviously the timeline's filled with one more shakeout. We talked a bit about how the charts to me for sure, we're getting into the fundamentals too. The charts are telling me at the bottom is almost certainly in. I do think we are going to shift back above 100K in the coming days, but I want to talk about crypto lagging behind stocks. What the fuck is going on, right? Everybody's freaking out. They're kind of saying, oh, crypto's definitely going to go lower because it's falling behind stocks. I'm going to tell you why. History really shows us that's not always the case. In fact, I do think crypto is going to see that great catch up to stocks and actually probably outperform this next year. We'll talk about that. The MoMA, which is the modern something art museum, whatever, I forgot what it stands for. One of the biggest art museums in the world, just bought, I think, 8 CryptoPunks and 8 Squiggles or something like that. We'll pull it up. A number of Squiggles for their permanent collection. Does that point to digital art and NFT art finally, making it? We'll talk about that. Low caps are taking off. We kind of talked about white whale. We'll talk about a few other opportunities, and then I want to talk about the non-crypto trade. Well, it's a non-crypto trade for sure. It's a non-token play. The non-crypto trade that I think could yield meme coin type gains in 2026 that everybody's kind of dis looking at, and then obviously chart requests and questions in the chat. If you guys have any questions, chart requests, anything that you want me to see throughout the chat, always love to make these streams as interactive as possible. So leave that in the chat as well. But let's go ahead and yeah, Bitcoin. I want to close this off here, guys. We'll probably talk about it throughout the show, but I think right now every single chart sign is pointing to this being the bottom. We have again this low that these multi-week lows that always mark the bottom. We have a slow chop down on the middle time frames the last couple weeks, holding above that low, and then really the final kind of icing on the cake is that even on the lower time frames, we're talking about the 15-minute and the hour, we have another consolidation above 84K. Where guys, I just would not be surprised to see this shift up either to start the year or in the next few days, and really like the sign, the confirmation on the middle and the higher time frames that this move up has really started, and that we're not going to just go up to this high and then start to chop down again is once we the trigger is once we close above 95K. Once we close above this 95K high, we start to see acceptance. That's probably where it's going to start to take off and really get, pretty quickly towards that 100K level. So pretty much, guys, in the next few weeks, I expect this to play out exactly how I've thinking it's going to play out the last several months. Definitely go in the last few weeks. Definitely go ahead and check out this video here on my page. I talk about this a little bit more in depth about how, I was able to see this weeks ago is because I studied these other corrections in the past. It's like fucking Luke Belmar. You gotta study. No, but I do think this shit is gonna shift back to all time highs, and 95K I think is coming in the next few weeks. Should we expect Solana to dip at 103 area again? I don't expect any short term like. I don't have any opinion on whether Solana is going to shift down in the next few weeks towards 103K. I think it's unlikely. Yeah. Again, I think I put out a tweet, I think a couple weeks ago. I said Solana had swept the low and that whether it's going to send now, I think it's swept the low and it's kind of just consolidating below it. I think Sol is going to shift up with Bitcoin here. Just kind of how I drew this out a couple weeks ago. It's kind of playing out nicely. I think it's going to go back towards, if Bitcoin goes to 100, I think we see Solana back towards 170 and 175, and then just like Bitcoin, we determine if this move is going to take us back to all-time highs or is it going to chop down again. Before, let's see, 2025 was hard for us, bro. Yeah, it's definitely not been an easy year. had a pretty good start to the year with Trump. We were able in this stream together to catch, a lot of the only few plays that were doing well, the Pengus, the USDUCs, the pumps, some of Aster, some of these, luckily, if you're able to pay attention, there's still money to be made, but it's definitely been a hard year, man. But we're still here. And if we're expecting crypto to do well long term, we should expect some off years, right? I think it's actually a feature, not a bug. Any news regarding crypto we should be looking forward to? Yeah. We're going to talk about the fundamentals here in a second, which have had me so bullish even before this consolidation started forming. What's good, young ads? What's up, brother? How you doing? What's up, ads? It'll go up soon. Yeah, I think so too. We are going to do a giveaway here in about 20, 25 minutes here, guys, from the chat. So if you guys want to be entered into this USDC giveaway, wow, is there only 4 comments on this shit right now? Oh, 33. Okay. Only 33. Pretty good odds right now, but I'll do a go ahead and, draw from the comments in about 20, 30 minutes. So Carl reposted the stream. Shout out to Carl, man. How's Bonnie doing, brother? No, Soul TA. Yes, 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 yes. Soul TA. I had this drawn out here, I think probably before Christmas, about a week ago. And let's see. Oh, I need to do this. Soul did sweep the low here, and I do think Bitcoin, Carl, is either bottomed out or very, very close. And I do think Soul is going to follow Bitcoin in the coming weeks, obviously. So I think Soul's bottom is either in. You could get a little bit more chop down, but I do not expect Soul to just take out this bottom here and go back to 108K or anything. So that's all I've been doing is accumulating ETH long positions. With the strong expectation that the bottom is very likely in here. Obviously, could get a sweep to the low like we saw here in April, where ETH swept the low like pretty violently, and then like the next day it was already up again. That would also be a very bullish setup. But either way, I think bottom is very likely in with how slow that we're chopping above this 28K. 2800 low. So Sol, same kind of thing, bro. I think Sol is going to shift with Bitcoin here in the coming weeks. Mystic, thanks for sharing, bro. Opened a 5x long at 87K recently, but I still expect to retest. Yeah, that's not a bad, honestly, Dior. I am not mad at that approach. I really like the 5x, 10x at the most leverage. Really gives yourself room because guys, everybody who makes money in crypto and they kind of treat perps as like a casino where they're trying to like 20 or 50x leverage like a move like this. Whereas me, I like to take the mindset of like I'm trying to catch the next big swing to the upside. Like for example, like the next big move to the upside, which takes weeks and months to set up sometimes. But for example, I mean, I was one of the few people on Twitter, I think, this year who was very bullish on ETH despite when it was coming down because of the fundamentals, because Wall Street was literally telling us they were going to build shit right on ETH. The DATs came around and obviously validated that. But I added heavily to this ETH long position at around 1800 was my average entry. And, I caught this entire move essentially up to about 3800 is where I exited. I'm sorry, 4100 is where I exited. And that was the best perp trade of my life. It took months and I didn't take a trade for months, but I was able to add in just it was like more of a stress-free trade. And those are the trades that I like to take perp wise. So I really like that approach. Who said that? Really like that approach, Dior, where you're doing low leverage because most people again are trying to catch this on 20x leverage, but what if you catch this whole thing on 5 or 10x leverage where you're able to take profits and add when it dips and really you're more of a master of your own destiny when you're trading these higher time frame things. And again, it's not as exciting. You're not going to get a fucking dopamine rush. But I mean, I get some dopamine rushes when I'm up fucking 200-300% on a perp trade, right? Like that calculated fucking saw it coming weeks ago, like type of thing. Like that's way more fulfilling than like catching a fucking simple spike to the downside on 30x leverage. Not sure we have enough juice for 110 and 115K. Yeah, I think like these consolidations most of the time happens. It's so slow, and then all of a sudden you shift out of them. So we'll see. Should we expect a liquidity sweep? I wouldn't expect it, but it's possible. Wojak, I'll check Wojak. Shout out to you, MKT. How you doing, bro? Let me know how you're doing. Wojak. Um, sorry, let me someone DM me. So Wojak. Wow, not gonna lie, I remember we marked this up last week. Oh my bad. Marked this up last shit. Let me share my screen again, guys. While I'm doing this, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share, always appreciated. Especially spending your time with me on this probably a day off for a lot of you guys. Let me go ahead and actually retweet this really quick. Um, but yeah, what were we on? Wojak. Wojak is actually looking like a very nice higher time frame correction. I talk about this a lot, guys. Like the difference maker in a lot of these higher time frame corrections that separates them from just any move down is how choppy and how like slow and how many bounces are in the move down. In short, even though this is a 60% correction, it's very choppy in nature, and I actually really do like this higher time frame setup. And obviously, still seeing a lot of people talking about Wojak. So, oops, my buddy Bra, Big Bra, you guys know him. I'm sure a lot of you. He been my friend for a few years now. He actually got me to kind of shield Wojak to me a few times and kind of convinced me to buy some like down here. So I'm about 2x up my entry, and I'm planning on holding it. I think it's one of the few that has a shot at kind of making out of this period. And as long as, especially if you can hold this low here that it's been holding for 2 weeks above 18, I think it might be off to the races soon if the rest of the market can shift. So I really like Wojak here. I've seen a lot of good guys like kick charts, MKT, a lot of these other guys who are really a lot of the low cap guys who have really inspired me kind of to fuck around in some of the low cap stuff lately as conditions improve. I think it's bullish. Can you give Solana a long here? Can you give us a Solana long? Yeah. I'll give you an entry if I were to take a Solana long. The most important thing, guys, here is I'll stress is you need to have a fucking stop loss here. We've seen on 1010 things can get crazy. 1010 is like a once in a lifetime thing, I think, like a once in a generation type, to once in a decade, once in a 5 year type thing. But you always want to be prepared. To have a stop loss is so important. So to kind of give you a Solana long entry, I think right now you could enter on the open market right now. Um, maybe what would that be, like 120 average entry with a stop loss at maybe 110. So I mean you're risking about 8 or 7 or 8% there. To have the first target to probably be about 170. Which that's pretty good. That's what a 25% first target. Maybe you could make the first target maybe 150. So right there, you're chasing about $35 of price. Fuck, I'm not sharing the screen. Damn it, my bad. So I'll just quickly recap that. Really, I would do a Solana entry right here. You could, if you open, it's already in a good place. I think you could have a stop loss at maybe 110, which is a pretty deep stop loss. You might even be able to move it up to like one, because if we take out this low, I think it is going to go lower, but I don't think that's likely. So maybe about 115, 112, maybe just 110 to be safe, right? 110 stop loss, entry at about 120. You're targeting first target is about 150 above the consolidation high. My second target would be probably be about 165, with the third target where I'd be, mostly out of it at about 180. So yeah, 120 entry with a 110 stop loss, and then you could stagger the take profits on the way up there, guys. So that would kind of be a nice Solana entry for me right now as far as a leverage trade. And then number one thing besides the stop loss is give yourself some room, bro. 5 to 10x leverage at the very most is what I'd be using. Let's talk about the bearish case too. If we don't reclaim and hold 95k soon, are we looking at a much deeper correction? Yes, to be honest with you, that is an amazing question, Dior. I want to catch up on chat here real quickly so we can kind of move on. But to answer your question, Dior, if Bitcoin were to somehow just, Trump came out with some shit, or there's some black swan, and Bitcoin were to, close up below 81k, very likely would not be. It would confirm that we probably are in a higher time frame impulse, where it could definitely lead to a longer a move into the 70s. At that point, I still think it probably would just be another low in this channel, and very likely in mid to high, sometime in 2026, points to a move back to the upside. I just don't see a world, unless the stock market rolls over for whatever reason, that we see a 2021 type bear market where we go down 60, 70% on Bitcoin because of the institutions, because of all these other great things happening. That I find that I just don't think that's likely. We're not in 2021 anymore. Obviously, anything's possible. Tomorrow we can go into a depression because of some crazy world event, but those kind of things are rare. And I think what's most likely to happen is if Bitcoin shifts up here, probably goes back to all time highs, but obviously could roll over next year into one more low. And in that case, that means we're here for another 3 to 6, 7 months, whatever it may be. But I just don't think that's a very high likelihood that we go down from here. But if it did, it would just mean, we find a bottom lower. Silver up 150% is absolutely fucking insane. I know. A lot of different takes on this. A lot of people think it's pointing to some bigger crisis or whatever. Who knows? I think it's pointing to that they're going to continue to debase the dollar, and everybody holding these metals is up big. I think this is kind of foreshadowing what ETH and a lot of crypto is going to do in the coming years too. But dude, absolutely insane. We need to have anybody remember we having Basement Ron on. We need to have him on again. That guy is up fucking massive right now on his metals bags, I'm sure. But yeah, I think crypto and I do think crypto is going to do the great catch up, I like to call it, of 2026, where it is going to catch up to stocks, I think, and probably outperform. That's another thing. S&P 500 last week hit all time highs. Absolutely nuts. Another sign pointing to what I think is going to be a bullish year for crypto. Uh, Dior, you've got a lot of good points here, but I'm going to kind of move on because there's other people asking questions. But Solana ETF inflows are disappointing. Yeah. When Bitcoin goes to 100K again, literally, yeah, I think so too. Hi, Brent. First question. How do you interpret the chart suggesting another shakeout? Yeah, I don't think we see another shakeout due to this like slow chop into this low. I think what's most likely here to happen is that we shift off of this bottom back to 100K. I'm not looking at a chart right now. I don't know if there's no real meta on Solana right now. Tully is desperately searching for the next big thing. I think that's another thing, Dior, too, is I don't think there's going to need to be a next big thing. I think memes, alts, revenue producing coins, the stuff that's already been around for the last 6 to 7 months is going to dominate. Zcash, yeah. What would you consider bullish news for crypto? I think there's a lot of bullish news going on right now in the background with regulatory clarity and other stuff. So I don't think crypto has a lack of bad news or good news. I think it just needs prices to go up. Yeah, it feels much better to get a good clean perp trade rather than gamble. Yeah, me too. Me too. Come visit us in Morocco. Yeah, that'd be fire, bro. I'd love that. Real quickly before I move on, guys, I want to go over right now over the checklist that I've made. I made a checklist here for you guys to kind of visualize why I've been so bullish the last couple months, despite prices kind of still shaking themselves out. But let me retweet this shit really quick. Let me see. We're live. Pull up. We're live. Okay. If you guys could right now go and I'm gonna quote tweet this tweet. If you guys could like, comment, retweet on, share on that. And while I'm at it, I've made a big effort, the pretty big effort the last couple of weeks to be pretty consistent. I could have been more consistent for sure, but posting on TikTok. I know being a faceless kind of content for now, which is going to change in the near future. It's been an interesting challenger journey to like make hook and get people to stop scrolling and all that good shit. But TikTok today, one of my first videos, I need to get my charger, but one of my first videos that to hit 2,000 views today, which is cool. And just going to continue to post on there and hopefully on board or whatever the fuck as many new crypto people as possible the right way and show them that you don't have to gamble on 10 or 15, 20 um meme coins every day to make money, that you can buy and hold coins and just different stuff that I'm into. That's not like the only way to do it, but I just want to show people that meme coins and crypto are not all scams, that there's people doing this shit for real, like actually buying and holding and trading this shit and having trade ideas and actually thinking this thing out as they would other type of asset classes, right? So definitely, if you guys could do me a huge favor, if you've ever found any value on these streams or whatever, you just like want to help me out, I'd appreciate if you could go to tiktok.com/BrenTrades and shoot me a follow. Maybe shoot a couple likes on the videos. I'm really trying to Instagram, same kind of thing, but TikTok, I think there's just so much potential of so many people that are like trying to look into crypto and really want to know what it is, but the first thing they see is like, oh, Trump is launching a fucking meme coin today. It's gonna make Elon's gonna make everybody rich off meme coins. And it's like, dude, not to knock your hustle if you're doing that, but I think that's gonna turn off a lot of people to crypto. Reasonably so. I see, who is this? Somebody, shout out to Hago ASD, just shot me a follow on TikTok. I see you, bro. Appreciate you. But yeah, shoot me a follow, TikTok, Instagram as well. You guys can see it at the top left of the stream here. Or I'm sorry, top right of the stream. Everything is Bren Trades with 2 S's except YouTube and Instagram, I believe. So you'll find me either way. Same PFP. But did I get that tweet out? Yes, I did. Okay, perfect. Let me grab my charger really quick, guys. While I grab my charger, if you're just hopping in, let me know two things. If this is your first time in the stream, and then 2, where you're tuning in from in the world. I'm gonna grab my charger real quick. Hold up. All right, guys, give me 1 second. Plug this shit in. But yeah, right now I want to go over really like this just checklist that I made to kind of visualize. This is real fucking rudimentary, but let me see. Share entire screen. Okay, so let's just do entire screen. Should be good. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me move this. 1 second, guys. Okay. So yeah, real rudimentary. So the checklist, again, this is why I've been so fucking bullish the last few months. Despite price action being slow, right? Like price action has been down just the last, what was it, the last month. That's when we started forming this consolidation where price action is just starting to kind of align with the fundamentals. But this is kind of the checklist that I think makes up, like, points to a bull case or bear case for crypto always, right? Most people only focus on this last one, price action, right? They not only do they focus on price action, but they only focus on the 5, 10, 15-minute chart, super zoomed in, which is not going to tell them anything. So if that 10 or 15-minute chart or their hour chart or their Fibonacci or whatever the fuck they're looking at is not telling them, saying bullish, nothing else matters, right? They're a bear. And as soon as vice versa, once that fib or whatever the fuck the 15-minute chart they're looking at is shifting to the upside for that 2 hours, they're automatically they're super bullish, right? I think the what I've been able to do, and I think other people that I've really learned from and who I really respect, they are able to look at the bigger picture. They don't base their entire crypto personality on the last 3 days of price action. They look at these other things too. This is the stuff that I was looking at back in April that got me so confident that I was able to accumulate that ETH long, where I was able to buy a bunch of memes that 5, 10, 20x, is because I looked at this other shit. And I think if you look at the other shit, the other stuff going on, it becomes apparently obvious that not only or it becomes super obvious that not only Bitcoin's going to go up in the short term, but that long term crypto is about to like absorb everything. And in that world, like, it's going to be a real sustainable market long term, I think. But either way, institutional adoption, 3 fire fucking emojis here. Like, institutional adoption is actually on fire right now. You see ETFs are more ETFs are popping up for different coins all the time. You're seeing more and more BlackRock talking about how Bitcoin in crypto is becoming a traditional part of portfolios. You see more and more sovereign wealth funds, which are pretty much the funds of like entire countries starting to buy into these things. Eventually, we're going to get countries, and it's just like more and more. I think the institutional adoption stuff is like the most obvious. Like we see all these guys, all these Wall Street type dudes, pretty much saying that crypto or the traditional finance system is going to merge with blockchain and everything's going to go on chain, right? And in that world, everybody's going to have a digital wallet. There's going to be more people trading meme coins, more people trading NFTs. It's just grows the bigger pie, right? And then risk assets, guys. Risk assets are absolutely on fire. Obviously, we have the S&P 500 making no all-time highs. I think that's going to contribute to crypto catching back up as well with risk assets. Risk assets bullish is good for crypto as well. The macro side of things, right? Obviously, we have um, we're lowering rates. They continue to lower rates without anything breaking. We're getting closer to those low rates where banking and lending and everything, businesses are just going to be more efficient, which again, going to contribute to a bullish next few months, the next few years, right? And then we have the regulatory clarity with the Clarity Act coming up, which again is going to allow founders and stuff to come into crypto for the first time without having to worry about the SEC like charging them with a securities fraud and stuff like that. So all of these things coming together, and then finally price action is just now starting to come around with the consolidation that we're seeing here on the charts with Bitcoin consolidating for a couple months. So I think once we shift back above this 96 97k kind of high, I can kind of I can add another fire emoji to this shit, maybe go 2 or 3 fire emojis to where everything is aligned, right? We have the institutional adoption, risk assets, macro, regulatory clarity, and price action aligned. I think the key is you want to get in, and where I've seen a lot of success the last couple of years is getting in when all of these things are lining up before the price action lines up, because when the price action lines up pretty quickly, prices are up 10, 15, 20x in a couple months. The people who win the most are the people who are um, are positioning themselves. What's it called? Positioning themselves for before that all happens, right? So, yeah, that's the checklist for me. I think price action is just aligning with everything else, and yeah, just aligning with the fundamentals, and I think that's gonna lead to prices going crazy here soon. So, let me share my screen on back on the ETH chart real quick. Zcash chart. We can look at Zcash too here in a second. Yeah, well. What tips do you have for someone who's bought Giga at 150 million? Hold. I think Giga is an obvious movement coin with a good IP and everything else. Uh, yeah, hold on. Let me just catch up to that. L stream if you don't talk about troll. All right, relax, brother. I'll talk about troll. Troll's one of my favorite coins. What are your TPs for ETH? Shout out to you, Shams. I don't know if you're still on here, bro. Shams is one of my favorite new follows of the last couple of weeks. The guy, him and I really kind of have similar thoughts on fuck what oh, right here, 2 A's. Similar thoughts on how the market, how macro, and how the conditions in Bitcoin kind of drive everything. Super smart dude for sure. As far as where my ETH TPs, as far as the longs, brother, that's a good question. I don't think I talked about that. So I have an average entry of around where price is at now. I would probably set the stop at around 2,600. And then take profits. First one would be above the consolidation high at around, I'm not sharing my screen. Above the consolidation high at about 35.50 would probably be my first TP. Second TP would be up here around 37. And then a third one would be around 38. So yeah, first TP about right. Usually the first take profit I have is pretty much above the first consolidation high that we clear above there. So yeah, 34.50, 37.50, and about probably 39, 38.50. I'd have to check, but yeah, generally that's where I have them. Troll is going to dominate. I think Troll is right up there with Giga to where it's a movement coin. It's one of the most famous memes, and it has the IP that they own. So yeah, Troll, as long as it holds above 23, I think it shifts just like Bitcoin above here and then goes back to all-time highs, I think. So like I have here, back to all-time highs if Bitcoin trades above 120k. So I think that happens, and I think we see troll, which would be epic. That'd be a 10 or 15x here, just back to all time highs. Hold on, guys. Okay. That's fine. Awesome. So yeah, troll, just real quickly, there's not much to say otherwise that I think that it uses this low as a bottom, back probably back to all-time highs, if not at least back to around 90 million. What tips do you have someone to hold Giga? It's just to continue to hold, bro. I think Giga is one of the good ones. Just followed you on TikTok. Thank you, bro. This is my bad. Vnox, this is a good comment, bro. This is my third stream. I'm tuning in from South Africa. I started following you from FOMO's channel. And since then, I started understanding crypto more in depth. Also, from your Telegram posts and the streams, it should also be my bank account. It should be about my bank account reflects the accumulated knowledge. Hey, shout out to you, man. First of all, I really appreciate you saying that. Shout out to FOMO. FOMO's also another good guy. Really focused on education and free education and stuff. I don't know if you saw me in the FOMO's group with Kick and all those guys. If so, that's amazing. A shout out to those guys for the love. A lot of great guys in their group, but I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate the kind words. It's been a real fun and real highlight of my life to continue to do these streams despite not a lot of shit going on. We've been able to catch a lot of good plays together, but it's been an interesting fucking year, and I'm glad that the Telegram posts and the streams have really helped you out, man. And seriously, that makes me feel good. I appreciate that. First time catching your stream, didn't expect it to be this super educational. I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, like, comment, retweet, share it with your friends too. I think it's been pretty fun to get to know a lot of the guys in the chat, but we're gonna have Twitter spaces and stuff. Like, I have another one here on Thursday where you can start to have you guys come and talk as well. But it's been fun kind of creating this kind of mini community together of people who are real serious people, and I love you guys, everybody from all over the world. ETH though, yeah, I think it's going to shift to the upside. Showed you guys the checklist. Now let's go ahead and talk about the S&P 500, guys. Obviously been fucking ripping obviously since it made this bottom here last month. Everybody on the timeline, like if you just literally type in stocks, crypto, I don't know, it's probably not going to come up, but like the DXY's continues downtrend. Stocks and precious metals have outperformed. This is actually I'm glad this came up. Shout out to Elio, one of my all-time fucking top favorite people on crypto Twitter that I've learned a lot from. He says, gonna post about stocks and metals to force a crypto bottom. The more you shit on me in the comments, the faster we go up. Funny shit post, but I do think that, like I said earlier, I do think crypto is going to catch up soon. But if you just type in crypto stocks, you just see everybody saying stocks seem cool. Let's all pivot to stocks. Everybody kind of freaking out and saying, okay, crypto's obviously going to move lower here because stocks are going up. And that's just not really how things play out. I think there's been plenty of times throughout history where I could show you where the stock market, for example, pulled back. Back in April of 24, for example. Did Bitcoin pull back in April of 24? I don't think so, right? Let's see. April 24. No, Bitcoin was, oh no. Yeah, actually, the whole market was pulling back. But there's plenty of times in history, if I scrolled back, where Bitcoin runs on its own, crypto runs on its own, and the stock market pulls back. And then plenty of times over the years where the stock market pulls away from crypto, and then crypto a little bit later catches up, or vice versa. I would not buy into this doom and gloom narrative that, oh, because stocks are ripping and crypto doesn't, that means we're somehow fucked, or that it's anywhere lesser, that crypto's just lost its mojo and somehow retail's never going to come back. It's just not how shit works, guys. I think once the whole market and most shit is just based on price go up. Bitcoin has to go up, then some memes go up, which creates these stories and testimonies, which then eventually bring other people in. And it's just the way that this thing works. And I think we're just waiting for Bitcoin to shift up again. Bitcoin drives everything. And once Bitcoin shifts back to the upside, just like we saw in April, just like we saw in 2024, just like we saw in 2023 twice, once Bitcoin comes out of these corrections, so too will the great memes, alts, all that good stuff. So I do think, yeah, it's annoying. I wish crypto was running into the new year. I wish all my meme and alt bags were already up 5 to 10x. But I think what you should focus on is not why is crypto lagging, is how can I position myself before crypto not only catches up, but it takes over everything. I don't think people understand that stocks in general, equities are going to be put on the blockchain, right? Equities are going to go on chain. So it's like, it's not just like crypto's like this small little brother niche to the stock market anymore. It's going to be the big thing. Like, so much so that stock market's going to be on crypto, you know? So I think it's just a matter of fucking time. I don't really buy into the whole, again, I think again it's just giving you more opportunity for the people who needed more time to accumulate before crypto catches up. But yeah, I think thanks for giving me hope. I was slowly giving up. Yeah, don't give up, bro. Even if we were to go into a quote unquote bear market, dude, this shit is just, it's so obvious crypto is in the place where prices are down, but we're going to see mass adoption. Whether it takes 6 months, 3 months, it's already happening. But I think once prices go up again, this time it's going to get very interesting because now you have regulatory clarity. You have the president dropped a meme coin. It's kind of just like open season, and yeah. So I'm personally excited. I'm very optimistic. What was I gonna say? So the MoMA. Oh yeah, the MoMA bought punks today or the other day. Obviously the MoMA stands for, what is it? The walls of the traditional heart, the Modern Art Museum. Oh, duh. Museum of Modern Art in New York has acquired 8 CryptoPunks, um, and sorry, 8 CryptoPunks and 8 Chromie Squiggles for its permanent collection. These assets weren't swept from the floor, but rather generously donated by a coalition of heavy hitters, including Larva Labs, Snowfro, Como, Dimigici, and G Money. Yeah, so essentially that whole thing that they formed around the punks, they actually donated to the MoMA. So I think it's bullish. I think it's pointing to the fact that digital art, NFT art, crypto art is starting to become part of the mainstream. And I think as the world gets more digital, these are going to become the premium art pieces and collectibles of our time. And personally, I'm hell bent on getting a punk right now. Just kind of be searching for something that I really like to make my PFP for probably forever. If not, I know I'll get fucking so mad at myself if I don't get one before they run to 1 million over the next however many years. And yeah, so this is bullish. I think NFTs are an industry that's kind of waiting for some type of mainstream catalyst to really take off, but I think it's inevitable. I think it could be so many different things that happen in 2026 that push NFTs back into prominence. And then the top 5 to 10 projects that stuck around, I think are going to have a big comeback. The V Friends being, for me, the most obvious. Maybe not to other people, but I think looking at everything, V Friends, obviously Pudgy Penguins, Bored Apes, Chromie Squiggles, CryptoPunks, all these key projects I think are gonna be huge. Only White Whale got a Santa rally, exactly. Hello, Brand. I hope you have a great day. Also, I'm really excited for the stream. Appreciate you for being here. I lost a lot of money. I don't think I can recover. You can definitely recover it, bro. You will. Cycle still intact. This consolidation is healthy. I think so too. It is pouring rain outside right now, which is not. But yeah, if you guys are just hopping on, earlier we were talking about crypto or Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. How I think that's very likely. They're very likely bottomed out here, and I do think we see that shift up in the next couple weeks. And then White Whale and a few of the other low caps are taking off, which is obviously very bullish. I think is sign that the rest of the market is very likely starting to heat up when you start to see lower caps like this start to show some follow through. Um, and yeah, I have about 50% of my White Whale position here, just kind of holding for or no, 75% of it, kind of holding for higher, seeing what happens. But yeah, S&P, I actually agree with most of your calls. You share real high value alpha in the Telegram streams. Thanks for solid alpha. Thanks, Dior. SPX 6900 gonna flip the stock market, Bren. Dude, I think SPX 6900 is like such an obvious buy right now. That's what I've been buying most of, despite it already being at 250 mil. Um, I think movement coins are just like gonna take off so heavy, and I think SPX 6900 is onboarding tons of new people already through IRL TikTok content, people doxing their face. I think there's no second best. Mog and all the Mog Giga, all these are up there, but I think SPX is kind of pulled away and really has a shot at getting to the tens of billions of dollars. If if and when meme coins really start to pull away again. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm still here, guys. My bad. Crypto's definitely just beginning my in my eyes, definitely taking years to get here. Yeah, that's bullish. We're not in a bear yet, Infinity. I think bear bull. I think it'll be confirmed on this next move up if we're going back into a straight bull or not. But overall, the bull or bear, like it's literally a matter of fucking 2, 3, 6 months. I think that the year, like a year out for crypto, it's so obvious where the fuck this shit's heading. So yeah, I'm gonna move my computer really quickly here, guys. So I'm gonna put it on mute for about 15 seconds. I'll be right back. While I'm in here, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share, and let me know where you're tuning in from the world, and if this is the first time in the stream. I'm gonna be on for about another 30 minutes or so. All right, here I'm here. I'm here. Okay, so alrighty, we're not in a bear yet. Oh yeah, my bad. Zcash. I'll get Zcash for you, brother. Zcash. So I think Zcash, because of the huge run it's made, is just starting a bigger correction. Is it going to catch up with the rest of the market if we bounce here? Definitely possible, but also would not be surprised to see Zcash make a further correction. Overall, long term, I'm very bullish on Zcash to continue up to the upside, and this is a very corrective structure. Just don't be surprised if it chops down a little bit more. But I do think in the coming months it will continue higher as well. I do think this is its first major correction since shifting, and this is just an absolute beautiful setup here for Zcash. Still up about 10x, which is really impressive. And I'm still very bullish long term on Zcash. To be honest with you, I'd be lying to you if I told you I had a big position in Zcash or that I saw it coming up here. Um, I'm fucking sidelined. I'm completely sidelined on Zcash, but I'm happy for all the homies that are doing well on it, and I think this thesis makes sense. And who knows? I think it could be something I diversify into on the way up for some of these coins, kind of like as another version of Bitcoin or ETH. First time tuning in from the Philippines. Fuck yeah, bro. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Um, Fuck yeah. Shout out to everybody in the Telegram channel too. If you're not already in the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel, definitely get in there. Obviously my buddy Boss Man and I are co-owners / running of the channel. Whatever, we've been working together. This is our third Christmas working together here. I joined up with him in about November, about a couple weeks before Christmas in 2023. And 300 members to about 40,000 members from all over the world. Free Telegram, obviously. All over the world in the last, what was it, fucking 3 years, like I said, and it was 2 years now, right? So third Christmas, but going on the third year, and yeah, it's been great. It's been a highlight of my life, and we post comments. It's been the comments, questions, chart requests, all this different, comments, not comments, fucking trade ideas, giveaways, streams, all that good stuff in there as well. Obviously my business partner Boss Man posts a lot of good stuff in there as well. So uh what's up? Yeah, I'll do that too. Also Boss Bot as well as um another thing that we've come out with, which essentially updates you on all different news from crypto and inside in and outside of crypto, very quick, straight to your Telegram. So definitely go ahead and check that out as well. Bossbot. Second time here, always nice to hear you. Thank you for being here, show yo. Same bias here. Thanks. Just followed on TikTok. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, everybody shout out follow. Yeah, Bossbot's legit too. Let's check. Is Bitcoin doing anything? Nah. Yeah, I think we're gonna get an explosion up here any day now, guys. So just a matter of time. Tesla kind of pulling back at all time highs here, but I expect to continue up. Big okay, and also guys, the other signs that just continues to have me more bullish is Bitcoin dominance. I think continuing its trend down. I think Bitcoin dominance peaked at 65K in July of 2025, and this is just a pullback before it continues back down to the downside. I am, I think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to fall through the floor into 2026, which is going to create, I don't know about an alt season, but a environment where altcoins and memes are going to dominate. And then we have the S&P 500, like I showed you. We have the total three, which tracks the entire crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and ETH. Kind of gives us a better picture of what the overall market outside of the major two coins are doing. And what that's telling us is that it's pulling back in this nice, perfect fucking coil up. I think what we're seeing for total three here is another version of what we saw. Okay, let me do this. Let me do this again. So, guys, what we're seeing on Total 3 here is another version of what we saw here, here, and here, where Total 3, during Bitcoin's corrections, it pulls back and tightens up and then goes to all time highs, pulls back and tightens up, goes to all time highs. Right now, I think it's pulling back, tightening up, and I think this is what's coming for Total 3. It moved like this, goes back to all-time highs, probably reaches above 1.5 trillion on this next run here. And again, what Total 3 tells us historically is during these periods where Total 3 is going up, that's when alts, memes, and stuff are thriving, and the overall crypto market is becoming more valuable. As you can see here, to put stuff into context, dude, like Total 3 hasn't made a new all-time high, or essentially held above the all-time high from 2021. That just goes to show how alts and memes have kind of been suppressed for the last couple of years and how much growth that they really have to run, especially with regulatory clarity and all this other great shit coming. So I'm very bullish on this. I think Total 3 is another sign pointing to an explosion to the upside for crypto in the 2026. So I hope you guys are starting to see this picture other than just Bitcoin price action. There's a lot more that goes into it, and everything is pointing to bullish territory for crypto. Of course, there could be something that comes out of nowhere, some kind of fucking black swan, a nuclear bomb goes off, there's some another pandemic, something that changes stuff, but those things are rare. Those things happen every 5, 10, 20, 30 years. That's not something that we should be expecting or betting on. So, anything absent of that, I think crypto, even if something like that happens, I think crypto is just going to take over. Do you see the rest of crypto ever decoupling from the Bitcoin chart? Um, so that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I could see a time where Bitcoin gets so big where it's only moving 1 or 2%, and then we have periods where alts and memes kind of just take over on their own. I think that's very possible, and that's probably the most likely scenario, Ms. D, as crypto starts to become um, Bitcoin becomes more of a solid asset, a higher market cap asset, that it will decouple naturally. But at the same time, when Bitcoin's having its big 10, 20, 30% correction, I think just like how the stock market is kind of tied together, I think for the most part, everything will be tied a lot to Bitcoin. But as time goes on, when Bitcoin's going sideways or it's just kind of going up slowly, I think other markets are going to have months or years where it kind of takes over. So yeah, I think that's a really good question. Iran and Venezuela might be the black swan. But that's not really a black swan though, right? Because Venezuela, we already know there's a problem with that. Like black swan is supposed to come out of nowhere and be something that really has structural control or structural like effect on the markets, like a COVID does or rate cuts or something like that. Venezuela could be another spike down, right? Like just like we saw in the Israel conflict or some of the Ukraine Russia stuff. I would liken it more to that than like a black swan. Let's go ahead and review some stuff on the timeline before we call it. I'm gonna start to, when stuff does pull on, start to get a little bit more exciting and stuff. We will have longer streams, but I think keeping it nice and I think we've covered a lot of good stuff today. So I want to review some stuff before we're done though. Were you gonna say something? Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen. Righty. Post workout. Let's see. Me to 2026. I hope. What do you guys any? Oh wow, Pudgy Penguins are about to are below 4. Sheesh. Wow, that's incredible. Let me know, how's the Twitter timeline been for you guys? Have you been seeing a not a lot of crypto non crypto related stuff? Um, I think that the timeline's actually been pretty dope. It's been, I think I've noticed it's been filtering out kind of slop and kind of like low effort stuff, and the tweets that are actually insightful and interesting and like make people think, I've seen have actually been getting pushed pretty heavily. Um, I haven't been seeing on my Jack the last few days. It's seemed to be. Um, One second. Let's see. My feed is just crypto and random street fights. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that too. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that too. Let's see here. Very good stuff. Been very, very quiet, but that's how these bottoms end, guys. It's like all fucking quiet for a few weeks, and all of a sudden, boom, prices go up. Everybody's excited again. But
view of crypto and you truly want to build something valuable, right? That's not just another rug pull, right? Let's say you have like a good heart and you really just want to build something. The problem is that this cycle, no one has cared about those people, right? Like all people have cared about are like meme coins, and like think about all the meme coin launches. So how demoralizing would it be as a developer to spend years pouring your skills into developing something only for some random meme coin to outperform your lifetime returns on a Tuesday afternoon, which is essentially what happened this cycle, you know? So I think a lot of developers left crypto and went over to AI where they felt like their skills would be more appreciated and where they could monetize it more and not just get caught a scammer, right? Which is ultimately what happens in the crypto space. So, what I think has happened is, there's been this like very much like this malinvestment of capital this cycle.
what do you guys think? Do you think people left crypto because there's not a lot, because they're not feeling appreciated, or do you think meme coins have kind of been the main thing because there's not actually any breakthrough apps being built? I think it's probably a little bit of both, right? I do think we are going to see in the next few years that there will be more apps being built that people are actually using. That brings more developers into crypto, but I don't know. I think it's like Murad's point too. Most of the stuff in crypto shouldn't even are just meme coins. Like most of the tech stuff is just meme coins pretending to be tech. And I think online communities and meme coins are going to continue to grow, but I'm sure there is going to be some legit apps that are built on crypto as well coming up. Um, let's see. Damn, dude, my feed is, it's a lot of like random shit. Oh, that's not, wasn't it? Uh, Face Clan is no more. Anybody give a fuck about that? Um, I'm seeing a big trend that's coming is a lot of the people are getting into One Piece and a lot of the cards before it kind of I feel like the cards obviously Pokemon's always been big and then it's sports cards, basketball, baseball, football were really big for a few years. And then now I think what we're seeing for the cards is a lot of non-sports cards like other than Pokemon. I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, um V Friends is starting to sprout up. Like obviously the Pudgy's cards, stuff like that is starting to become a lot more popular, and I think that's going to continue to change. We saw Mr. Beast the other day. He put I'm not into One Piece or anime like at all, but Mr. Beast changed his PFP to what is this Luffy or whatever, the guy from One Piece, I think. Um, so I think this is pointing more to a trend of collectibles are on the rise, but also anime and non-sports cards I think are going to continue to grow. I'm super bullish on V Friends. That's why I've have a large, pretty large card collection in that. I think it's super fucking new, but it did get V Friends Tops Chrome, for example. Tops is obviously like the biggest card company out there. Tops is just massive, and they've only had Disney, Disney, Marvel, um, Disney, Marvel, SpongeBob most recently, like all of the biggest IPs. It's been those few, and then V Friends just got one last year, so it's huge. I think V Friends has a lot of fucking room to grow, and that's kind of where my bet is at. But I mean, if you're into trading cards and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised to see Pokemon and everything else continue to get big. You got rage baited by what? Crypto needs more integration. Space is saturated. Yeah, I think that's what's going to end up happening over the next few years. Is more people are going to have digital wallets. The thing is, we all kind of have a mindset of getting betting on things that have potential to go viral and what can go exactly. Somebody in one of my chats today was just saying, "Oh, like I just don't get the creator coin thing. It's never going to work. Like, why would people be incentivized to hold a token?" And I think they're like, oh, it's just like everyone's going to get mad at the streamer because they're not making money. And I think what it is that a lot of the streaming token model thing is going to be another alternative for people to support creators, where a lot of these people, instead of giving $10 to their favorite creator, where it just goes straight into their pockets, it goes 50% to Twitch, 30% to Twitch, and 70% to them, whatever. They take that money and buy the creator coin, which the creator does get a fee off of because they're trading the coin. And then as well as that money, that $50, instead of going straight to the creator, it goes they have upside. They own a piece of that creator's success essentially. Which then the creator could tie a bunch of experiences, a Discord, meetups, one-on-one calls, more personal calls with the creator, like different stuff, which incentivizes people to trade it and to hold it and all these different things. I think that's a model that's very likely or has a good shot at playing out. I think we're way early on that. But to kind of to Vnox's point, I think the entire world is going to be not only tokenized, it's going to be the whole world is going to give a market. You're going to be able to bet on everything in the world. You're going to be able to bet on obviously markets, predictions, and events are already happening. Sports you can already bet on. That's been a thing for a long time. You're going to be able to bet on events in sports are obviously a huge one. You can bet on people. There's gonna be tokens and assets belonging to people and just everything you can think of. And in that world, I think it makes sense for creative tokens to kind of take off. We're at live 1K viewers. Appreciate everybody for hopping on for real. Exactly, people buy and gift subscriptions with no return. Exactly. And I mean, what if they kind of had where instead, like it was subscriptions, like it's okay, you're sub to this channel for 1 month. All you had to do is buy this $10 worth of tokens and hold it or something. I think there's a lot of shit they could do with it. DGen 12 William, what's good, bro? What's good, brother? I need to plug my fucking computer back in. Where we at? Okay. BNB. Let's see what BNB is doing. I think BNB is going to be another good one. I think it might sweep this low here, but I think just like Bitcoin, I think it shifts off this low and probably heads higher. Amazon's interesting, dude. This is just like a hypothetical. I don't think this is gonna happen. I was just fucking around, but like Amazon has been holding this high here for over a year and about 8 or 9 months. Consolidation at an 8 or 9 month high is never a great thing if it can't clear. So we really want to see Amazon clear this high here soon. Otherwise, I don't know. It's there's not too much else telling me that the stock market's going to turn over, but just stuff like this, if Amazon were to do this for a few more months and then trade black below, that could be troublesome. But I think it's more likely to continue up. US 100, all the stock market indexes look pretty fucking amazing. Do you see Hyperliquid sitting all time high again with asterisk competition? So your first part, do I think Hyperliquid hits all time highs again? Yes. I think Hyperliquid. I was watching this video with that guy, fuck, what's it? He's on Thread Guy's thing. Thread Guy's stream a lot. He was theorizing that potentially Hyperliquid might not. They'd already is seen its peak, and that everybody's just going to create more perp dexes that kind of make the fees go to zero. But in a world where the market bounces back in the coming months, I think so too does Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is one of the few revenue producing protocols that actually does like the solid buybacks and everything. And even though this is its biggest correction ever, it's down about 60%. I think Hyperliquid very well bounces back with the rest of the market. I think it's one of the high cap coins at 9 billion that you can get a nice entry in still right now. And again, just riding it back to all time highs, you're looking at a 2 or 3x or 2x. So I like Hyperliquid. I think it's one of the few revenue producing protocols, and I think it's another version of this what we're seeing here, where Hyperliquid went from 12 to 3, 75%. This is about the same, a little bit less. So, I mean, Hyperliquid could either bounce to all time highs from here, could bounce and then come back down one more time with Bitcoin this year. But either way, I think zooming out about a year from now, I think Hyperliquid makes another move back to all time highs. Aster might be a good runner. What do you think about Flog? I bought in at 40. It doesn't seem Flog. I think Flog is going to bounce back with the rest of the market, and I do still hold all of my Flog. It's down about 98%, which isn't great. I think it does bounce back. We just got to see if it's going to bounce back to all time highs. They did launch the NFT collection, which did decent, all things considered. Are they going to continue to build? Very possibly. And if that's the case, I think Frog does have a lot of potential, but it's not something that's like I have. I still have conviction that's going to bounce back, but I like stuff like SPX, Gigamog, USDUC, stuff like that are just like surefire plays. This is a little bit more on the question mark side. I think it's going to bounce back, but is it going to bounce all the way back to all time highs? 99%, essentially now. Yeah, it's down 99%. But hey, we saw Nubcat bounce back 99%. So I think it's gonna bounce back. It just doesn't bounce back to all time highs, or does it just slowly churn up? Usual crime already dead. Yeah, hype is good. Off topic, have you started collecting Pokemon cards? Hey, Lucky, I'm gonna DM you back today, bro. It's been super busy on Christmas. Anybody who's DM'd me the last few days, I probably haven't DM'd you back. I've just literally been so busy with Christmas. I took a couple days off. So I'll reach back out to you guys today. Off topic, but have you started collecting Pokemon cards? Great question, brother. No, to be honest, I have not. The last few years, I have not gotten into Pokemon cards. What I have gotten into, for the most part, is V Friends, collecting V Friends. I know that's people are like, what the fuck is V Friends? And trading cards, but it's again, Tops Chrome. V Friends, I'm just a really big believer in the IP in general. I think Gary V is just one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. He has a real vision of building this thing for 50 fucking 5 years out to become the next Pokemon, Marvel, Disney. 10% of that, it would be insane. Like, this guy is just a absolute genius. Like, the when it comes to marketing, he I wish I could pull up the compilation pic post right now, but talking about Facebook, Instagram, uh for every major social media. He was like the first person back in like 2000 fucking 4, 2003, telling everybody, I don't know about that, like 2005, whatever, telling people that social media is going to be something where everybody can create an income. People can not everyone, but people can create an income off of. He called social media, Facebook, Instagram, the biggest one, TikTok. He was saying TikTok's going to become the biggest app in the world back when it was just kids dancing, and it's far surpassed that. He says that not only VFriends, but NFTs are going to be like the next social media, the public wallet, kind of like we're talking about here, is going to be the next social media where that employers and everybody is going to be able to look at your public wallet, and it's going to be able to tell you that what kind of decisions you make, whether what you're collecting, what you're buying, what you're into, and that NFTs are going to become, massively huge part of the technology in the world. And in that case, VFriends, I think, is going to be right up there with the pudgies and the fucking apes and the crypto punks. And I know a couple months ago, even, that sounded absolutely fucking nuts when you had, why is this doing this? When you had, when you had pudgy penguins at 12, 13 ETH, 14 ETH, whatever it was, and you had VFriends at 1.5. But, how the fucking tables turn. Like, this isn't any knock on pudgy penguins. I think it's more of a speaks to VFriends and the fact that it's able to have true collectors that are still onboarding people throughout this time. Um, where the fuck is VFriends on here? Let's go to VFriends. Should be like right here. I have no clue why it's not. But essentially, while the pudgy penguins went from 16 down to 4, the VFriends went down from about 1.8 to about 1.3, whatever they're at right now. And I think on this next leg up for NFTs, the only thing that matters is that people that whoever the builders build it into a real big company that people outside of crypto care about. And I think VFriends on this next leg up is going to be that one, with Topps Chrome and everything they're doing on whatnot and onboarding new collectors. That I think VFriends very likely on this next leg, at least in the next few years, is going to pull away from the Pudgies of the Apes, get up there. CryptoPunks is obviously a little crazy still because it's right up there, and it would take a lot to get there. But I'm talking the Pudgies, Apes, Chromie Square, like everything I think is going to get flipped or be right up there. VFriends is going to be right up there, man. And it comes down to a number of things. The builder, the founder, obviously, but I think this VFriends has the best shot out of anything in NFTs to become the next. I'm not saying it has to become as big as Pokemon, but like an IP where people are like fall in love with the characters, they love the stories, they're actually like enthralled with the like they fuck with the actual content. Obviously, the early collectibles of those will do very well. To me, I think Pudgy Penguins are great, but I mean, they've created characters out of them, but essentially, a Pudgy Penguin is the same Pudgy with different faces and masks. Obviously, there's different colored ones, but it's essentially a black Pudgy, a pink Pudgy, and a fucking brown Pudgy with different hats and shit on them. Which I think something like VFriends, where there's 250 different characters to create storylines and shit off of, is set up more optimally, or the most optimally, to become the next big IP. So I'm ranting, but to answer your question, homeboy Lucky, have I created Pokemon cards? Or created? Have I collected Pokemon cards? Not so much. More so focusing on VFriends. Uh I got with my NFTs, I got access to be buying these Topps Chrome hobby boxes for VFriends at about $100, and right now they're going for, what is this? They've come down a bit, but they're going for about 400, 500. At one point, they were going for about six, so it was about a 6x for all of the holders of the NFTs. But I opened all of them. So, do you think Flog will run it back? I think there's a good shot. UFD entry, good DCA in my opinion. I think so too. Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon cards, VFriends cards. No, I don't know. I would assume maybe Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know. Who knows, dude? Pokemon's probably going to continue to dominate. How confident am I that Fog bounces back? About 80% confident that it bounces back at least, multiples where it's at now. Does it get back to all-time highs? I don't know. I think there's a good shot, but I bought 40 million, which is pretty annoying at 40 million. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. They got deal. Yeah, that's another thing. They also they forced everybody to sell their Fog at that price, which is fucked. Yo, Brent, do you think crypto cycles repeat because of consistent human behavior or because the market history repeats patterns? I've noticed. I think there's certain stuff like sentiment where people get very, very bullish when stuff's down or bearish when stuff's down. and then bullish, as things go up, and certain human behaviors are going to always repeat. I think the market is kind of designed to induce people into either direction. And again, most people only care about that last 2, 3 weeks of price action and not really looking at everything else. Um, but I think those things are always going to repeat. While at the same time, every cycle is going to be different. We've already seen it. This cycle's been completely different in the price action, in the participants, in the regulatory stuff, in the macro, versus last cycles. But we have, just because we topped out at the same time, you know, happened to top out in December doesn't mean we're going to go down for 2 years like we did in the previous years. So kind of both, man. I think it's you're going to see these repeating patterns, but also every cycle is going to be different. I think the biggest mistake that everybody can make is trying to put every cycle in the same box as the last one. They're always different in some way. No way. I did not even know that good thing. I only bought top memes like Fartcoin. Yeah. Brand, what do you think of you? I think of a useless IMDCA, a lot of Fartcoin. Yeah, I think Fartcoin's going to bounce back too. Do you think any plans to launch a project? I'm always paying attention to the whole creator coin thing. Because again, I do think it's going to be natural, the next evolution of social media, very potentially, where a lot of social media, a lot of people, um, are going to a lot. You're going to be able to bet and speculate on and uh, on everything, people, events, and I think that's going to become a natural progression of the world. And a lot of these celebrities are starting to realize, okay, everything's going to be tokenized. Why would I not? Celebrities or content creators. Why would I not take control of that myself and launch this creator coin? Through the website. Don't have to worry about anything, and that every piece of content be speculated on, or people could collect it in the same, and that way people can buy your creator coin or buy your post just like they would support you and donate $5 on Twitch. It's another way for people to support the stuff. So I think that's naturally a progression, and that's I'm definitely keeping my eye on it. I'm not opposed to it. Like, I was not close, but I was like highly considering launching a pump fund coin to do the streams on like 3 or 4 months ago. Like, I wasn't really close, but like I was thinking about it. I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger yet, but I could see a world where, like, I don't think I'm ever gonna have a, I don't want to say never, but I don't have any plans on ever releasing like a paid course. I want to continue to put out information and build my name through free content, at least for now, and then monetize, through sponsorships and other different stuff that I've been able to do, obviously through my trading. But I'm not opposed to doing a creator coin eventually when it makes sense, to where I have my course in 10, 20, 30, 50 hours of information and a Discord and this value and calls and exclusive streams and stuff tied to some kind of coin, where if people want access to the course or whatever, instead of having to pay me $50, they just own $50 of the coin, and they have access to um, tons of fucking value. I could see a world where I do that eventually, but again, everything would have to make sense. I'm not super eager, anxious to, I need to do this now and be one of the first people to do it. If I see the infrastructure and everything start to make sense, it's definitely something I would be ideal. Like, if the world and it made sense and it was smart for everybody and everybody won, and it gave people a way to to have access to my early stuff, or and where I could get people in an early and tie certain free value to the stuff, to where I never hold, or maybe obviously lock up the coin and never touch it, and then obviously maybe probably give away some of the creator fees. There's a bunch of cool shit we could do with it, but I'm not super anxious to get into that just yet. A lot of stuff would have to align, and if it makes sense, it makes sense. If not, we're just continue to do these streams either way. I just want to continue to build the brand and do these cool streams. What is your favorite soul movement memes? That's a great question. Really like Giga USDUC, is Giga and USDUC and Troll. Probably top three for me. Trying to think. Yeah, lock in's pretty nice too. It's a lower cap now, but yeah, I would say the Giga, Troll, and USDC. Silver just hit all time highs. What's up, bro? Haste makes waste. Good idea of holding off on creator coins. Good idea. Yeah, again, I don't think that, to be honest with you, I don't think there's any great creator coins, insane creator coins out now. Like, I think if we do get a wave of creator coins next year, which I think is possible, if they get like some bigger streamers, then who knows? Clavicular just got kicked off of Kick. Does he launch a fucking pump fund stream now? Probably not, but stuff like that will start to happen, I think. But yeah, I don't. I do agree with that a lot of the ways Goldman tracks that. You don't need to hop into it. There's not a lot of great creator coins yet. I think if we do have a resurgence, I think stuff like the guys that have just been pushing, like the Based House and Rasmer and stuff, will probably do really well. This guy Bun Coin, which I really like, which this guy's been streaming on Pump for 24 hours for the last however long. I'm not looking at the screen. 24 hours, however long, and for about 3 months now. People like that will probably bounce back. But I agree, Goldman tracks a lot of the great, amazing creators that will have coins eventually have just not launched yet. And I don't think you really need to be super, eager yet. But let's see. Bitcoin doing anything? I think I'm gonna pop off here in a second, get some food, get some editing and stuff done, guys. But gonna obviously me, we're gonna continue to do these streams now that the holidays are kind of coming to the end here. I think next Tuesday, which we do the normal streams, I think sorry, I just saw something. I think is on would be 5 days from now is Tuesday, right? Or is that 4 days? So the 30th is Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Am I tripping? What is that, the 30th or 31st is Tuesday? 31st? Okay, cool. So yeah. Oh, Thursday? I meant Friday. No, Tuesday. My bad. Tuesday is the 30th. Okay, my bad. Okay. So Tuesday is the 30th. So perfect. We'll be fine. Good to go on Tuesday. Tuesdays and Fridays going to be the streams for now here on X and on YouTube. Definitely check out the YouTube as well. For now, we're going to probably kick it up to 3 or 4 streams eventually once the market picks back up. But this Thursday, too, my buddy Hemdog and I, my good friend, one of my favorite people in the space, Hemdog, and I will be doing a Twitter space here on Thursday to talk about all things crypto and NFTs, where you guys can come up and ask questions, chop it up, if whatever. There's going to be a number of topics. Been a really last good few conversations happening in the last few ones that we had. Took about a week off, but we'll be back on Thursday at 2 p.m. PST, which is a little earlier in the day. I hope a lot of you guys can make it. I will put out the tweet here in the next few days for that, but look forward to that. Goldman Track says, yes, that's the move. The centralized social media will move important the tokenized creator. Yeah, 100%. Ibrahim says, and I'm going to pick that giveaway here in a second too. Ibrahim says, I think Q1 of 26 will be good. I do too. I like a few artist creator coins. There's some good. Yeah, which ones do you like, Dan Norton? Work on your guide. Yeah, man. I probably have like 10, 15 hours of content so far that I made. But I'm finishing it up. Are you bullish on lock in? Yeah. 2 million lock-ins down to what the fuck? That is nutty. I didn't even realize it got down that low. But I think I drew this box maybe a couple weeks ago. I think the best thing for lock-in is that it holds above this low at around 2 million for a while, and then I think it makes a big shift. Guys, I mean, think about it. Of any fucking term that's really gotten popular over the last 3 or 4 months, think about 6-7, which is still seeing, I think, its last gasp of like popularity, where like people are still saying it. Like, I think it's getting kind of cringe. People are kind of making fun of it now. But think about the last 5 years, which like term that people are saying uh that's getting popular, like people still say, right? I guess lock-in's been around for a while, but think about lock-in was like a crazy thing like a year ago. Everybody was saying that shit, like lock the fuck in, and it's still big. Everybody still says lock in, like it's timeless. There's a movement behind it, and for that reason, I think as long as it can hold above 2 million, the shit's gonna take off, I think so. yeah, I'm still holding all my lock in. Definitely down bad on it. But I do think it has a shot at bouncing back. Really good shot. Sneak reposted the stream. Appreciate it, Sneak. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that giveaway real quick before we sign off. While I'm doing that, if you guys could like, comment, retweet, share, turn on post notifications, and of course a follow if you haven't already, so you don't miss next week's stream. I'm super fucking stoked this last year to build a nice little community in here, guys. We hang out. We've luckily again Pengu, SPX, USDUC. Uh, a lot of these coins we were able to catch together. All that's cool, but just like creating a place where everybody can come and hang out and ask questions and just chop it up. Eventually, that'll become more interactive. Maybe have some of you guys come up and ask live. Maybe have some pre-recorded questions. That would be fucking dope. Um, but just continue on. I think anybody who's been in crypto for a year and a half realizes like how the experience is when things are good and bullish, and it's just a lot more fun and all that. Or ironically, that's not really the time to get involved. You want to get involved in these times that are boring. But just if you're at all having a good time and enjoying yourself now, you're gonna have a great time when things are good, especially if you prepared yourself. So I appreciate you being on these streams. Like, all this stuff that I'm sharing, I hopefully is helping people, but like just the fact that you're sticking around and not disappearing like a lot of people do during these times, like I think it'll pay off. It's definitely paid off for me in past years. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and do that giveaway so we can go and sign off. Let's see. Let me know too what you guys got planned for the rest of the year. 64 comments in here. All right, I'm gonna randomly pick this from the comments here. All right. Oh, somebody who actually was very fucking active today. My buddy from the Philippines. Oops, Effie. Shout out to you. What's your full name on here? Effie, Affinity Soul. I appreciate you for being so active on the stream today. I'm glad it went to somebody who was asking some great questions and shit in the chat. So um again, I appreciate. I wish I could give a fucking giveaway to everybody. But I always appreciate everybody getting on. Again, I'm going to continue to do giveaways and during these streams, as we get partnership or sponsorships, and as the market rips up, obviously we'll be able to do more cool shit. So again, turn on post notifications, likes, comment, retweets. The stream always, always appreciated. Shoot me the follow in the Telegram as well. My buddy Boss Man. Um, and yeah, I think we're coming to the end of this correction, guys. I think not only the fundamentals have been flashing bright green for months now, but I think the price action is finally going to come into alignment with that. And yeah, I think this thesis that I've had for several weeks here, that we're going to end up seeing a consolidation that looks just like the bottom in April and the bottoms in 2024 and 2023, is playing out right in front of our eyes. I'm excited to reap the fruit of our labor from fucking waiting throughout this time. The most money I made is usually, other than perps, and even that takes some waiting, has been in has been in waiting, and buying and holding coins and stuff for weeks or months sometimes before they go up, but those are always the greatest gains. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. If you celebrate it, I think we will talk before New Year's, but if you guys aren't on here before New Year's Eve, please be safe. I think what's going to come next year in the next few weeks are going to be incredible, and you don't want to play yourself. Don't get a fucking DUI. Don't do some stupid shit. No, I'm just playing. I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and great rest of your weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday.